Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to another Real Madrid preview. This is the preview to Sevilla against Real Madrid with 2 games left to go. Second place is guaranteed. Second place is where Real Madrid will definitely finish. That means that you know it isn't that big of a pressure game. And if Real Madrid lose this, draw this, win this, I suppose it doesn't really matter. But we want to end on a high, of course, like we said in that game against Mallorca. So obviously we want Carlo Ancelotti to end on a high, and hopefully these players can do it for him. But at the end of the day, I think there is a bigger picture, there's a bigger story that, the season is over, and we are looking ahead and looking forward to the next season. But I hope these players don't, not give their effort, not give in their all. I think that is important. I mean, you look at some of the players who might play this game. I think Endrick will start this game, and we'll get on to that later on. But he has that point to prove. He needs to get firing. He needs to show Xabi Alonso that he is a player that has that potential. We know, but is he a player that is ready now? That is ready to play 20, 25 games in a season? And when he gets the opportunity to play those amount of games, can he deliver good numbers? We're not expecting, crazy numbers from Endrick, because we knew that this first season and the next season was going to be that, developing and adapting year. But he needs to obviously show at least that there is something in him that he can show to the manager that there is a player in there for now and for the future. And then you look at other players like Fran Garcia, like Dani Ceballos, these players whom I think, genuinely could leave, maybe not this summer, but maybe next summer. But either ways, there is a strong case for these players that they would want to show that they are still good enough to at least be the backup, because they're not going to be starters next season, but I think they want to at least be part of the squad. And then you look at the young players coming through. Jacobo Ramon is one of them. I'm not saying that he has that pressure, because I think we can cut the youngsters some slack, but they would like to show that they want to be part of the squad. They want to be in that squad. And I think with Xabi Alonso, I think if he sees a young player in the academy who is obviously shining, he will give them opportunities at least to be part of the squad, if not even get game time on a regular basis. And then obviously you look at Mbappe. For himself right now, he at least wants to win the Pichichi La Liga top goal scorer for the season award. He is 3 goals clear of Lewandowski with 28 goals. I don't see Robert Lewandowski scoring a hat-trick or 3 goals in the next 2 games. I don't even think he will start the next 2 games. He might start one of them. In fact, he probably... I don't know if he's still injured, but he was injured for a period of time. But I don't see him scoring 3, and I think Mbappe could genuinely score a couple more. So for him, he wants to win that for his own personal achievements, and obviously I would like that as well. So yeah, I think Real Madrid fans in general would like to see Mbappe win the top scorer. At least that is something good to take home, right? So overall, I think there is still a lot to be made in terms of the point to prove for these players, and we cannot just throw the last 2 games down, because that is not the kind of mentality that this team, this club is built on. So we just have to get into the last 2 games, and then obviously give our 100%. Now we are playing against a team whom also don't really have a lot to play for. We are playing against obviously Sevilla. They are mid-table. I'm pretty sure they are 14th, if I'm not mistaken. They are. Just to get the table up. They are 14th. There is no way they are going to get high enough to get themselves into the top 8. Um, 8th place is gone, 9th place is gone, 10th place realistically is gone. They could finish at best 11th, which wouldn't mean much, and at worst they could finish 17th, which means they are safe. So they are in that bunch. You're looking at them, Girona, Getafe, Espanyol, and Alaves as that bunch that aren't really gonna do much. The likes of Valencia, Mallorca, Osasuna, and Rayo Vallecano, Celta Vigo, they are all fighting for Europe. I think Celta Vigo will get Europa League, and I think the Conference League spot fight would be interesting. It's like a 4-horse race, but I think it's gonna be very close between Rayo and Osasuna, whom I believe play each other on a final day, which is kind of interesting actually. But anyways, not to obviously dwell on that. Do they? No, it's not Rayo and Osasuna. It's Rayo and Celta Vigo. I'm sorry. Wait, is it? No, they don't play each other on the final day. So basically, Rayo Vallecano and Celta Vigo play each other this match week, and that is between 7th and 8th. So realistically, if Rayo Vallecano lose that game, they probably would fall behind Osasuna. Even Mallorca, to be honest. Osasuna play Espanyol, and they probably will win that, so they will go above Rayo. Mallorca play Getafe, they will probably win that and go above. Valencia play Athletic Club, that is going to be tough for them, to be honest. They could win, they probably will draw. But what that means is Conference League is actually pretty interesting. I'm not too bothered about Real Madrid, that's why I'm more interested in that European spot fight, that final 2 spots realistically. Obviously it does seem like Celta Vigo have that Europa League spot locked in, but who knows, right? So yeah, it's interesting. Rayo, Osasuna, Mallorca, maybe Valencia in that fight for the Conference League spot. But back to what I was saying, Sevilla, nothing to fight for. They will probably finish 14th, maybe 13th. And yeah, it's just been a very miserable season for them. And you look at the mid-table, you're looking at 4 teams that were and have been in Europe in the past, and they're fallen off. Valencia, Real Sociedad, Girona, and Sevilla. Those 4 teams are in a bunch where they just have underperformed, and they've allowed teams like Celta, like Rayo Vallecano, like Osasuna and Mallorca to fight for European spots, which is quite incredible, but they've dropped off. So Sevilla, nothing to play for but pride now. Like I said, not been a very good season for them, and their current form isn't that great. But to be fair, at home it's not too bad. Their last game at home was their last match against Las Palmas, which they won. They drew with Leganés at home at the start of May. They drew with Alaves at the end of April. They lost to Atletico Madrid at the start of April. They lost to Athletic Club at the end of March. And they drew with Mallorca back in February. So realistically, they have 1 win in their last 5 home games, including 2 losses, 2 draws, and 1 win. So yeah, not great. So yeah, the Sanchez Pizjuan is obviously a very heated up stadium. I don't know how to explain it, but when it's full, when it's filled up with fans, it is a very fiery atmosphere, and I think that could be their 12th man. Not in a bad way, but that could help them. But obviously, like I said, 1 win in 5, clearly it's not been that great. And now that they have nothing to play for, are they really going to give it their all? I'm not sure, but you just never know. Right? They've got a couple of very good players, actually. To be honest, obviously a lot of players have left, and their team looks very different. Luca Bacchio scored at the Bernabeu earlier this season. Ruben Vargas, Saul is there right now. They've got Kevin Gamero, that's a very throwback name. Suso, again, very throwback name. Isaac Romero, I think he scored at the Bernabeu as well. Bade at the back. Ajuk. They've got Fernando Llorente, another throwback name. Konoplyanka, another throwback name. They have got a lot of throwback names. I don't think these players will start, but very interesting. They've got Joaquin Correa, another throwback name, but I don't think he is currently even playing. I think he's at Inter Milan, but it says that he's at Sevilla. But yeah, that's very weird. Sambi Lokonga, unknown from Arsenal. Gudelj in the midfield slash defense. Pablo Sarabia, and I don't think. Wait, it says Pablo Sarabia. Okay, he's not actually at the club right now. Okay, that is a scam. Um, that is a scam. I'm being scammed. Lorente isn't even at the club. Okay, Google is scamming me right now. Kevin Gamero is retired as well. You know what? No wonder I felt right now. That is weird. I think the only player that I've said that is still playing is Suso. But that is very, very nasty from Google. But Luca Bacchio, Vargas, Saul, Suso, Loic Bade, Ajuk in there as well. I'm not even sure who out of these bunch actually still plays at the club anymore. Now that Google has completely messed up with me there. But anyways, it'll be easier just to go and look at their last game and their lineup, wouldn't it? Jibril Sao, Aguame in the midfield, Suso, Nylan in goal, Pedrosa, Marçal. Yeah, obviously not great, not a great team compared to what it was for Sevilla, which is why the drop off, of course. But a couple of good players still in there, and obviously, yeah. For Real Madrid, in terms of team news, from what we know, Lucas Vazquez is back in the squad. The rest are still out. I think Lucas Vazquez is the only one back, along with Lunin. They are the two back in the squad. Brahim Diaz is still out as well, with Rudiger, Camavinga, and the usual suspects: Carvajal, Militao, Alaba, Vinicius Junior is still out as well. Rodrigo is still out. Mendy is still out. Gosh, there's so many players out, man. Oh my gosh. Yeah, the whole team's out basically, but yeah, those are the players that are still out. So the only players back is Lunin, or are Lunin and Lucas Vazquez. So with that being said, I don't think this team will be too dissimilar compared to the team that started against Mallorca. Courtois in goal, I think Lunin is back, but I think Courtois will start. We could see Lunin start this and Courtois start the final game, but is there a point? Not really. My back four is the back four I want to see: Fran Garcia, Jacobo Ramon, Tchouaméni, Valverde. Vazquez is back, great, but let's not throw him in. We want him to get a good farewell, but we can do that by bringing him on, or by obviously starting him against Real Sociedad next week. So yeah, keep it as the back four, please. Midfield: Ceballos, Bellingham, Modric. I know I've been saying this. Jude Bellingham needs a rest, but I don't think he'll get it. I don't think he will get it. And you look at the midfield options, you could easily form a midfield with, let's say, Ceballos, Modric, and Valverde, and play Vazquez at right back. But I just can't see it. And then in the attack, there is only 4 attacking options, which are Mbappe, Endrick, Gonzalo Garcia, and Victor Munoz. And the last two are academy strikers, so I've gone Mbappe, Endrick, and Arda Güler as the front three to start this game. So, lastly, to end off with a score prediction. Again, I think it'll be very tight. I think it will be very tight. It'll be very close. I think Sevilla will definitely, have a couple of opportunities, and I think they might score again. Like basically every single team have done to Real Madrid this season. But I think I'll go Sevilla 1, Real Madrid 2. I would take that. So, yeah, I see a 2-1 win for Real Madrid. But let me know what thoughts are down below. Hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. Hit the button if you did, subscribe to cheers on already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.